All right, we're gonna have chicken two ways. I'm gonna show you how to manipulate a chicken breast in two different ways. One for a weeknight, that's perfect for the night you don't want to work, and one for a special date. I don't know, maybe you have someone you want to impress. So here we go. Chicken breast. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna remove this mangled stuff that the supermarket gave us. Anyways, we're gonna remove that skin. And the way you can remove the skin is by simply start to just pull it off. And if that doesn't work, you can go ahead and grab yourself a sharp knife. We're going to start cutting along the edges. Try not to cut any of the meat. There you have it. And then for this, what we're going to do is we're going to cut it into sort of like cubes. First, remove this mangled tender here. And to get the cubes that I'm looking for, I'm going to cut the breast in half. There you have it, cut it in half. And what I like to do is I like to get that half and then cut it in half across the grain. Not along the grain, across it. There you go. And like that, half and half. Take all the pieces and cut them into half. We're looking for the size of like something like this little piece right here. So then I'm going to cut all of that up. And the reason I like to do this is because it kind of preserve some of that moisture that you need. And you know, chicken breast tends to dry out. All right, you want a deli cup. If you don't have deli cups, I suggest you buy some. So in this deli cup, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the chicken there and I'm going to season it. And I'm going to add our lemon juice here. Now, this is perfect for storing in the fridge. However, if this is a weeknight dinner that you're planning ahead of time, don't add the lemon, okay? So we're adding about 5-6 pinches of salt, pepper, and paprika here. And then we're going to go ahead and use a mesh strainer to squeeze the juice out of a lemon so we catch all those seeds. Now, the reason you don't want this sitting longer than 15 minutes with the juice, it's because the acid in the lemon juice is going to begin to denature the protein a little bit too much, and it's going to give you a weird rubbery consistency. Okay, so you can see we strained out all the seeds. Now we're going to cover this, and the beauty about deli cups is that you can just shake it all up. Now you have yourself marinated chicken. If you're planning to store this for the next couple nights, don't add the lemon juice. Just season it the way we did it before adding the juice, and that should work out. Now I have about 8 ounces of leftover onion and 8 ounces of leftover bell pepper. You can use whatever veggies you'd like. On a hot pan, we're going to add neutral flavored oil or the fat that you'd like, and we're going to test to see if it's hot. Once you hear that sound, it lets you know that the pan is hot. So we're going to add the rest without the juice. And the reason we're going to add it without the juice is because it's going to begin to steam. Even though this has been marinating, we're trying to prevent steaming, but we can't too much because it's absorbed some of that liquid, and we got to let that liquid evaporate. And that's why you don't want to overcrowd the pan, because after about a minute you can see that the liquid is gone, and that's perfect. That's what we want. If you overcrowd this, it will continue steaming and it will eventually just boil. So you don't want that. So once the chicken gets colored just like this, you can go ahead and put this on your landing zone. Look at that beautiful caramelization. That's what you're looking for. Take this, put it in your landing zone. I'm going to use that same pan. Okay, so keep the flame on. We're going to add a little bit of oil here. I'm using neutral flavored oil. You can use whatever fat you choose. And to that, we're just going to directly add the veggies here. Move them around a little bit, just to make sure that the oil coats every single little piece of veggie here, and that's important for what we're about to do. Okay, so how do you tell the chicken's done? Well, split it apart. You can see the threads here, and it's still moist. It's like 95% cooked here, 98% probably. We're gonna add this back in there, so that's why you don't want to overcook it. But that's how you can tell. Or you can tap it like that, and if it's bouncy and has a little bit of give, the chicken is done. So when you see caramelization on the veggies like this, you want to move it around to give an opportunity for the other veggies to get some of that heat. There you have it. Nice caramelized on the edges. Translucent. The sweetness is already coming out. You can smell it. And this is the perfect time to season it. I'm doing a 50% mixture of salt and pepper. You can choose to add the same seasoning we added on the chicken if you'd like. And we're adding the chicken back into the pan, and we're going to toss this for about 5 to 10 seconds. Nothing more. This is ready to be served. These are perfect fajitas for a weeknight if you don't want to be figuring out, running around like a chicken without a head, no pun intended. You don't want to figure that out. This is something you can prep ahead with your deli cup. There you have it, weeknight fajitas. This is perfect for any weeknight. The idea here is that you understand the process, not the recipe. The technique, not the recipe. So once you understand this process and this technique, you can season it whichever way you like and you have a perfect weeknight dinner. What if someone comes over unexpectedly or you have a date night? Not to worry, I have the perfect technique that will help you impress anyone. For this application, we're going to leave the skin on. My goal here is to pretty much even out the chicken breast. How are we going to do that? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to cut it or slice it about halfway, about 40% of the way. And we're going to slice it at an angle like this, 40% of the way, and we're going to spread that a little bit and then slice, spread, slice, and spread, and slice, and spread. Just like that. 40% of the way, okay? Not all the way. Same thing to the other side, 40% of the way, slice, spread, slice, and spread. There you go. Perfect. And for the middle, we're just going to do another little slice right there. And you can go ahead and flatten this, put plastic, and hit it with a mallet, but we're not going to do that because, to me, this is a perfect thickness right here. You don't want to season this beforehand. So you want to season right before you actually are going to put it into a nice hot pan. Don't do it too soon because it's going to release too much moisture and you don't want that. That's against what we want here, against the results that we're looking for here. Okay? Even though the breast has moisture already, it's not enough to steam it or anything like that. It's just right. It's perfect. The pan will take care of that. No problem. So hot pan, we're going to add oil. Once we know it's hot, we're going to place the breast away from us so it doesn't splatter at us. We're going to make sure that it's touching the surface completely. Now you can see here, it's getting stuck, and that's perfect. Don't panic, don't move it, don't try to get it unstuck. Leave it as is. What lets you know where you're at during the cooking time is this white right here. You see that white along the edges? That tells you how far you are in your cook time. That shows you how far that heat has traveled through the protein or through the meat. So it gives you an indication, a visual indication of what's going on here, okay? So if this was a little bit further along, it would get unstuck. But we're about 40% of the way here. 45%, I would say, almost halfway. After about a minute or two, you're going to notice that the breast comes off the pan. That's your indicator that we can now flip it. Use some tongs to flip it. Don't do what I did here. There you have it. Just make sure that the protein is touching the pan, and you can probe it that way. You know that it's cooked. It's nice and bouncy. And you can see here as well, the liquid turned white. The liquid that was coming out of the breast is turning white. That lets you know that it's pretty much cooked. You don't want this to go any further. And so we're going to go ahead and put this chicken breast onto the landing zone. Okay, once we do that, we're going to use this same pan. We're going to turn off the heat because we're going to add a splash of white wine. If you don't have white wine, that's fine. You can do apple juice or you can do chicken stock. You have options here. So once you added the splash, we're going to turn the heat back on. And the reason we turn off the heat because we don't want the wine to flare up and you accidentally burn yourself. Okay, we're going to scrape all the bits and pieces here. That is all flavor. We're going to need that for our sauce. So what our goal here is we're going to reduce this sauce to about 50%, meaning we're going to allow it to evaporate. Once it's bubbling, we're going to add lemon juice to this, okay? And let this go for a little bit to evaporate. And then we're going to add a couple knobs of butter. And by this time, you can turn off the heat. Going to let the butter just pretty much melt with the heat from the sauce. So there, turn off the heat and mix it around, emulsify it. Make sure that it mixes because this is fat and fat doesn't behave well with water or any liquid. So we're going to mix it around and then we're going to add the breast back into it for about 40 seconds. Going to add some lemon wedges here. Once it bubbles up, that is your cue to remove it from the pan. just like this. Q to remove it. See how that sauce is nice and thick? Perfect. And this is how you serve it. It's pretty much the way it was on the pan, so you can actually practice on the pan how you're going to serve it so that you can impress that special someone. You add your sauce right on top, and bam, you have a really nice, delicious date night dinner. So if you feel you learned something here, please like and subscribe. And I'm helping you to get lucky. So please help me get lucky and share my video. If you use today's techniques or recipes, let me know how it turned out in the comments.